Let's watch and react to Graham Stephan making lasagna in a dishwasher.
It's going to be the first time I've ever made lasagna. Number two, I've never used a dishwasher.
Same here. I have never made lasagna before, other than the frozen stoufers.
Never used a dishwasher before in my life. I've always washed up.
Wait. He's never used a dishwasher before. Because I thought almost everyone did.
I went on Google and I got all the ingredients I think I should need.
So that's what I did too. I went on to Google. I never made lasagna before. So I'll have a link to this in the video and in the description, but I went to allrecipes.com. This is the one that I use. It's still on my phone.
I think this is it. So I really don't know. So what I'm going to do first is watch.
So he has 2 boxes of lasagna noodles. How much is he planning to make? I only bought 1. That makes enough for 12 servings. So is he trying to make enough for 24 servings?
So it looks like she cooks the beef on the stove. So she cooks everything first and then...
Yep. So how much money are you really saving cooking something in the dishwasher? Because you're doing most of the cooking on the stove already. So what is the point?
Bend. They're very hard.
So what's the point of even using the dishwasher at all?
Cook it together, because otherwise then the lasagna...
I agree. I just made that point.
Okay, so we gotta cook all of this first, and then we put it in the dishwasher together.
So I think the point of putting it all in the oven or in the dishwasher to finish cooking it does kind of bring it all together. It probably cooks the noodle down a little bit more, but for the most part, all of the ingredients are cooked and, as far as I'm concerned, safe to eat.
Dishwasher together in a pan. So let's give this a shot. Again, I'm not a professional cook by any means. Do not call me Gordon Ramsay in the comments. I've never done this before. I'm not Guy Fieri. I have no idea what I'm doing. This is my first time.
So he said Guy Fieri. I mean no disrespect to Guy Fieri, but I wouldn't look towards Guy Fieri for cooking. Now, to review some good diners, drive-ins, and dives, maybe some good barbecue or some good burgers and stuff, he probably knows what he's talking about there. But as far as cooking, I just don't feel like he's going to be up there with the likes of Gordon Ramsay or Bobby Flay. Maybe I'm misjudging Guy Fieri.
So obviously we got to cook the ground beef first. So I'm going to put some oil in here. Here we go. So we got our avocado oil. So
okay, so what he's doing is probably not wrong, but I want to go and point out an observation that I've made and what I did in mine. So usually when you cook any kind of protein, especially something that has fat in it, ground beef usually has some amount of fat. Ground pork definitely has fat. Do you really need oil when you're cooking beef or pork? I guess maybe if you want to cook the onions and garlic first, you need something in there for it to kind of cook in. But to me, why not just cook some of the protein first, or all of the protein, because that's what I did. And mine turned out just fine. He's using avocado oil, which sounds expensive. I've never used it before. I actually didn't know that it existed. I just find it unnecessary. I just use the animal fat that's naturally in the meat.
So now we got the right burner this time. And then I cut this, right?
So that snapping sound, that's a gas burner. That's what I want. But I'm not going to, because it costs too much money.
Well, it's gonna look good. It's gonna be good when it comes out. Okay, so we got that, and then what? I should stamp it down, right?
No.
Okay, so that looked like either a 2-pounder or a 3-pound roll of ground beef, or I can't remember, ground pork. But I guess if he squeezed it from about halfway, he would have the right amount. You don't have to measure, but I'm just saying.
What you probably do right now
Ground
is
beef.
get the pasta ready. All right. There we go. Get the water boiling. So far, I think so good. It's pretty easy.
That's great. He's multitasking. That's what we should do in the kitchen. That's a great idea to cook the pasta as he's browning the meat. Do things first where you set it and forget it, such as boiling water, and then go and do something else. You're using your time more efficiently.
Doing all of this. Yeah, so far we've been cooking this beef. It's been about 5-6 minutes now.
Okay, so you can see how much fat has rendered out of the ground beef. I mean, his ground beef is kind of, having splash time in its own fat. So again, I don't know why you would need to drizzle avocado oil or any kind of oil before you cook any kind of protein, because it's naturally going to provide its own fat to cook in, and you're going to drain it anyway. So it might add some flavor, but know that you are throwing most of that away. I expect him to be draining that. I hope that's not going into his lasagna.
We got to do the math here. Look at that. It's not going to fit. So.
Just break it in half over the thing.
Savannah, I would disagree with that, because you're supposed to be able to fit the noodles inside of a long pan. As a lasagna noodle cooks, it, the bottom part where it's in the water softens up to where it kind of curls up and brings down the rest of it. So this wasn't necessary, in my opinion. I think it's probably okay. Again, I'm not any kind of professional chef or anything, but to me it would make sense to keep it all together as a big long strand. It makes the process of layering less labor intensive, because once you break it in half, now you got twice as many pieces to deal with.
This is turning out to be very expensive lasagna, by the way. I don't know how much this Jack.
Totally agree with you. I didn't think lasagna was that expensive, but the recipe that I got costed me about, I feel like my lasagna is pushing $40.
This is homemade lasagna. We're gonna make sure this is airtight so that way it goes through the dishwasher. Totally okay.
So he said homemade, and that's mostly true, but I used to watch Sandra Lee on the Food Network. I don't know if she coined this term, but she called it semi-homemade. Just a clarification.
So then we got a little parsley put over here on the top. Look at this, is actually looking really good. I'm actually really excited about this.
So my parsley was incorporated into the ricotta cheese as well as the meat. I don't know which way's better.
Got my lasagna. Do that, and we're going to be doing one more. So far, it seems harder to protect the lasagna.
He did 4 layers. Well, the first layer was the same direction, but he did 4 so far.
Third, I would say. We're going to put it right here. Oh, man. Ah.
Okay, so he used the bottom rack, which is probably fine, but I put mine in the top rack, and the reasoning behind that is heat tends to rise. So my idea was that the top rack might be hotter, but in the case of a closed environment, I think all bets are off. I don't think it matters.
Right now, guys, well, this is because we gotta wait 30 minutes. I'm gonna clean up, and then 30 minutes, I'm gonna snap.
He's only cooking his for 30 minutes. Mine ran for 90 minutes. I did like a full cycler. Well, we'll see how his tastes. Mine tasted just fine.
Sure, and I'm actually curious how hot the dishwasher gets. So I'm gonna be looking up right now on the computer and seeing how hot the dishwasher gets. Wow, so a dishwasher gets between 140 and 145 degrees Fahrenheit. Wow.
So he looked it up, and I was so tempted to do the same, but I held back. I wanted this to be totally experimental. I broke out my thermometer for the very first time.
It's actually really good.
Is it Graham Stephan approved?
It is. Honestly, it's not bad.
Okay, so I was expecting it to taste just fine. Like I've said a million times now, all of the ingredients are pre-cooked already, so you probably don't need much heat to bring it all together. I guess if you're gonna do it in a dishwasher, maybe consider cooking the noodles an extra minute or two.
I honestly can't believe that worked.
Final thoughts. Thank you, Graham, for doing that and giving me the idea of doing the same because I wanted to find out myself. And it would be such an honor if you would watch this reaction video to your reaction video and maybe left a comment. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this was enjoyable. It's my first time reacting to anything, and I'm really glad it could be Graham Stephan that I reacted to. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time, and smell you later.